Hello, Mixed Nutcases and Dog Days of Podcasting listeners. This is Nuke Joss, and this is Dinner and a Movie. And tonight I'm going to be talking about Masters of the Universe. I'm going to tell you right now, I've already recorded this, and somehow it paused halfway through, about 3 minutes in, and I realized that the timer's not ticking away. There's no way I've only been talking for 3 minutes. So if this feels a little less than fresh, or if I missed something, I apologize. But yeah, so Tech and I watched Masters of the Universe on Amazon Prime, and missed it in theaters, but we were able to catch it, and we watched it tonight. I will tell you that I went into it knowing nothing. I didn't know what this... I mean, I watched the cartoon. I've seen the 80s movie. You know, I get the memes. But I did not know anything about this particular movie, actually, until after it was already in theaters. And Sonorous Vox had mentioned that he had seen it. And I was like, wait, what? They made a Masters of the Universe again? So I didn't know who was in it or anything. But it was kind of one of those, okay, I'm going to watch that. But going in not knowing anything is sometimes really good, and that is the case here. I think that just having no preconceived notions is going to be helpful. So I'm not going to talk too much about the movie. What I am going to say is it is a heavy dose of nostalgia in just the right way. I loved it. I got all the jokes, or many of the jokes. It hit me in just the right way. The music, the soundtrack was amazing. It had the 80s power ballad feel, and everything was just awesome. And you had Brian May playing guitar through half the movie. I mean, it was just perfect. As Tech said, there is not enough neon in the world. It was fantastic. They were making references to the cartoon, to the old movie, to the memes. I think the only meme they didn't do is the Skeletor and remember wisdom pieces, but that would have been kind of hard to slide in there. But they really hit a lot of them, even some that might surprise you. Again, I'm not going to talk too much about it. I will say that it probably could have been 40 minutes shorter. It didn't need to be as long as they made it, but it's okay. It was good. I like the way they handled it. I like the fresh take that they had. While I love the actors that they chose, it is strange to me how they cast Latina actresses and decided we're going to give them blue eyes. Like, I know the cartoon had blue eyes, but you chose Latina actresses. So why? Okay. But it was great. I love the costumes. I loved everything. It all kind of worked. Even if some of the CG wasn't exactly perfect, I think the cheesiness of some of it just kind of works because everything was tongue in cheek. They weren't taking themselves too seriously. There were lots of comedic bits in there. Was a lot of fun on the couch. And if you are looking for fun on the couch, this might be the movie for you. If you've never seen He-Man or do not like He-Man, probably not. But other than that, yeah, this might be the movie for you. And I am going to pair this with a chicken soup that has enough things in it that it will even satisfy a giant green tiger. And there was not enough of him in the movie. That was my favorite part of the whole movie. Absolutely adorable. Tech made me some soup when I was feeling ill, and I revived that soup for tonight's dinner. I made some rice, and I added veggies to the soup and a little seasoning to the soup, and of course water. Whenever you're reviving a soup, you need to add some water. And cooked it all. Oh, and potatoes. And I cooked potatoes in the soup, and then just poured that over the rice, and it was absolutely delicious. And I think any green tiger or dragon would be very, very satiated with that. Yeah, so that's where I am. If you've seen Masters of the Universe, let me know what your thoughts were. I do want to comment on some of the other Dog Days of Podcasting. Specifically, Paul Mackey, you were talking about scripting versus not scripting. It is very obvious that you are scripting when you're doing your episode reviews. You do a lot of work. There's a lot of stuff that you get in there that is really interesting, fun facts, all of that. But it's a lot more than I think that's one of the things that would kind of keep me away. Although I do remember going in that deep when I was on Beyond the Wall, a Game of Thrones podcast. I would go very deep into the research and the references and all the other stuff. It really was a lot of extra research, but it's a lot more scripting than I do. For me, in case you can't tell from my rambling, I don't script. I just kind of go off the cuff, and that's kind of the nature of things. Even when I actually had to force myself to do outlines for quote unquote nutty debates. They're not really debates, and they've definitely gone away from the debate format. But basically, when we do our panel shows and we've got discussion topics, I try to give myself a little outline so I just don't ramble for 3 hours, because I was starting to head in that direction. But I don't really script. Even at work, if I'm putting together a presentation and it's something that I've never presented before, I will write a script, but I don't use it. I write it just so that I have it there. And I just kind of riff. I look at it and I riff, and I go off of that. I feel like for me, if I'm using a script, then I'm acting, and which is fine. But this podcast is not me acting. And at work, I don't really feel like I'm acting. There's definitely parts of my personality that I keep closed off, but I'm not acting. And so, yeah, I don't script a lot, basically, is what I'm saying, which is not a bad thing. Like, some people script and they do fantastically. Some people need it because they're unable to just riff. And I know that that's, for some people riffing works, and for some people it's a struggle, and some people should script instead they're riffing. And I hope I'm not one of those people. But the Encaffeinated one, actually, I remember during discussions or lessons, or trying to remember exactly what it was, but some of the advice that he would have at the radio station was always basically that perfect was the enemy of good, and that you shouldn't be chasing perfect, and that there is authenticity in being yourself, and sometimes having a clearing of your throat, a sniffle, a pause, an actually makes your show more relatable and you more authentic. When I started podcasting, I was so meticulous. I was pulling out every every sniffle, every cough, and it sounded robotic. If I heard it now, I would probably think it was done by AI. So I struggled at the beginning because I have a little bit of a stammer because of my ADHD. And I do a lot of filler words or things like that, or I repeat the same word over and over again. Awesome. But I needed to kind of listen to myself, be cognizant of what I was doing, but also allow myself to not be perfect and to just let it ride. And so as I've been doing this podcast for the last 15 years now, it has been just kind of letting myself be that more relatable experience, be more authentic, and allowing those sniffles and allowing those things. I'm not going to be chewing into the microphone or anything like that. There was a while where people were eating while podcasting. That drove me crazy. But the finding what makes you comfortable as a podcaster and finding your own voice, these are two things, and nobody can really tell you how to do your voice, your podcast, or your rhythm, I guess is my thing. I've been changing gears. I've been really enjoying Craig Stepp's little insights with his random topic generator. That's been wild. I thought it was really interesting hearing him talk about modifying accents and finding your radio voice and things like that. And this kind of leads into that. I do have an accent, and it changes depending on where I am and who I'm talking to. The Encaffeinated One Tech can definitely tell you that even just driving closer to New York, my New York comes out a lot thicker. But it's really funny because when I go home, people are like, oh, I can hear your Canadian accent. What Canadian accent? And in Canada, that people never know why I speak the way that I speak. So there's definitely that. And having traveled so much for work, I would definitely hear it. I would hear my accent change depending on who I was talking to. And so you kind of pick that up just by talking to people. And there are times when if I'm talking to somebody from New York, it'll just come out because it's natural. And I start talking louder. That's another thing. But yeah, keep those coming. I'm really enjoying everyone's show. Love hearing Basement Goblin and Nix's show. That is fantastic. And in Caffeinated One, I am digging being outside with you. It really feels like I'm sitting there with you, which is awesome. And I miss that. I know that there's a whole bunch of other people. Jay, stop hitting your head. He could keep sitting in his head while on the treadmill. It's definitely making me kind of wish I have a treadmill. Not now, because I'll just go outside, but in the wintertime would be nice. But I would need space for that treadmill. So that's a whole other thing. Anyway, I am going to go. I've got so much on my mind and more that I want to share, but I need to save something for the other days.
Nutty Bites is produced by Nimlas Studios under a Creative Commons Attribution No Commercial Non-Derivatives 3.0 International License. That means you can't change it without my permission. You can share it and send it to your friends. Just link back to me, my site, and everything. We live at nimlas.org, which has links to everything social media, including facebook.com/group/nuttybites and patreon.com/nukejoss, or call 347-NUTTY42.